everyone, and welcome to the Indieheads podcast. I am your host, Matty, aka Recon AG. On this week's podcast, we have
Will, user Will for Thrill.
I'm TJ. I'm new. I'm user Ski Brady.
I am Ollie. I am Tupac AMA.
I'm Nick. We have herpes.
So, we're this week on the podcast, we're going to be talking the new Beach House album. But before we do that, we're going to go with our famous classic segment. What have we been listening to this week? And this week, I'm going to take a different turn. Instead of talking about an album, I'm going to talk about a beef. So, of course, everyone knows about the Drake versus Meek Mill beef, right? Okay, I know it's not indie, but who gives a fuck? It's my podcast. I choose what we talk about, and this is what I'm going to talk about.
Oh my god,
Jesus!
I actually did listen. Hold on, I'm just gonna list the two albums I listened to anyways, and just give brief little things about them. Future 56 Nights. Really good mixtape. Lots of great songs on here. Diamonds from Africa. No Compadre. March Madness. Whoa, yeah. Baby. And 56 Nights, the song is also great.
Yeah, the coolest motherfucking DJ on the planet is on that, too, so...
DJ Esco. By the way, if you have not read DJ Esco's AMA, I would definitely read that. It's actually really good and, kind of insightful. Okay, also, listen to Nas's Illmatic for the first time. I can't say much about it because I only listened to it once, but, I definitely see why people consider it a classic. Anyways, back to Drake versus Meek Mill. So there's a new interesting development in the Drake versus Meek Mill beef, which I think was talked about months ago, but whatever. We're going to talk about it anyways because I actually have a lot of fun talking about this because I get the shit talk Meek Mill because I do not understand. Meek Mill is here's the thing. I put MC Ride in my top 5 personal favorite rappers right now, and I just do not understand Meek Mill. It's with MC Ride, that is real.
What do these have to do with each other?
Because Meek Mill has his.
You just want to talk about death grips, okay?
Yeah, you would just bring up death grips.
No.
Excuse Meek Mill Drake.
Stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Let me explain, okay? Okay. Meek Mill, his big thing that people make fun of him about is the fact that he yells a lot and he's very loud. MC Ride yells a lot and he's also very loud. However, MC Ride does it in a believable way, while Meek Mill comes off as fake as shit. So, anyways, Meek Mill versus Drake. So as we all know, Meek Mill came at Drake on Twitter. He was like, "Oh, you're using a ghostwriter. His name is Quentin Miller." And then Drake's like, he just dropped 2 disses on his fucking radio station that Apple is paying him $20 million to start. So I mean, yeah, we've all heard back to back. We've all heard Charged Up. We all know Drake killed Meek Mill, but Meek Mill he keeps trying to get back to the beat, but it's like, dude, we all want to know. We all know you lost from right when that happened, okay? Because
you're like the embodiment of hip hop heads right now.
Okay.
Sidebar.
But we all know Meek Mill lost
so
because
sidebar.
I swear to God, Nick, I'm gonna fucking fire you, okay? I don't care if you're an original. I'm gonna fucking fire you if you don't shut up and stop interrupting me and let me speak, unless you have something nice to say to me, okay? I'm your boss after all. Anyways.
All right, Mom.
We all know Meek Mill lost because I will give Meek Mill this. He had good disses in his song, but the problem is that his song itself was garbage. The song sucked. It was a complete mess, and you couldn't listen to it outside of the fact that it was a diss song. However, Back to Back and Charged Up, they were actually good songs, without taking the beef into consideration. I like Charged Up. It was nice, but Back to Back is better.
Yeah, no.
Nice try.
He did it twice because he wanted to get it right.
He did it twice because Meek Mill didn't fire back after Charged Up. Okay.
Okay, well, that's one of the lyrics, but, he did it twice because he probably realized that the first song was awful.
No, he did that because... Yeah. Did you not read the Fader interview Drake did? Anyways, if you...
Ugh.
Okay, anyways. Okay, the newest development is that DJ Drama's ex-wife was on Twitter, and she's like, yeah, you gave Meek Mill those reference tracks because Meek Mill wanted Quentin Miller to write for him, and Quentin Miller didn't want to do it. So, looks like Meek Mill was actually trying to use ghostwriters all along. Ooh. Okay, also, speaking of Drake, if you guys saw on Twitter this week, I made a bet that if Hotline Bling did not go number 1...
This is so stupid.
On the Billboard Hot 100, that I would... that I would fuck up my government plate's license plate. And I had to do it because I put too much faith in Drake. I still stand Drake, and I still love Drake. I don't care what you say, Will. I love him. But,
Man, I bet you reined in 15 Twitter likes from that.
You know,
What was
I had to
number
make the sacrifice. Okay.
What was
But
number
did
one
you-
that week?
Number one was
No one told you to fuck up your plate. You did
The
it. You
Hills?
just
I know,
wanted to.
okay? Okay. I made the bet myself and I stood for it. Okay, because I'm a real man. Okay, I'm a real man. I stand by my promises.
Anyways,
Jesus
what
Christ,
was
you
it?
sound like-
Okay, that's all about talking about. If you were in the daily discussion thread or the daily music thread, you probably saw it, or just go to my Twitter at Monrovian Prince, and you can find the
Shameless
video of me
plug.
fucking it up.
Shameless plug.
Wait, what was number one that week though? Was it?
It was the
The
Hills.
Yeah, of course. That's like fifth week, right? Or like
It was like the
something.
fifth or fourth week. Which, by the way,
Crazy.
I would love to do another Billboard episode, but that's probably gonna be like a couple of weeks down the line. I'd love to do it because I think the charts have definitely changed since the last time we did one. Okay, anyways, I'm pretty much done with my topics because I've run them through. What did you listen to this week, Will?
All right, so I mean, I've mostly been listening to Joanna Newsom, but I'll talk about that next week. So instead, I'm going to talk about Sleater-Kinney's The Woods. I've talked about them a lot before on this podcast. They're one of my very favorite bands. And since Carrie Brownstein released her memoir last week and I read it, that was just, I mean, I don't need an excuse to listen to them, but that was a good enough excuse. And I can't really choose a favorite album. Like they're all good. Like I'm Jeremiah talking about like Destroyer albums. They're all good. But anyways, yeah, or national, whatever the kids are into these days. But yeah,
National, Father John Misty, Kanye West, LCD Sound System, you know,
yeah,
all that
covering all
stuff.
the bases. But anyways, yeah, I can't choose a favorite, but usually most days it's Dig Me Out, but some days, like today, it's The Woods. And this was kind of their furthest. This is their last album before they broke up back in 2005. And it was their furthest progression because at first they were just playing kind of scrappy punk rock, and this is basically just like big Led Zeppelin inspired cock rock, really. And they did cock rock better than anyone else I heard in the last
They don't
10
even
years.
have cocks. They don't even have
What?
cocks.
Yeah, that was the underlying thing.
That just makes it even better because they don't even have cocks and they can simulate cock rock better than any other bands with cocks could do so.
I've literally never heard that term before.
Joke.
Is it like dad rock?
more or less, but it's just
Oh,
kind of just like kind of Queens of Stone Age, just kind of like ass kicking, kind of, I
Yeah.
guess.
Dad dick rock.
Yeah,
It's like
dad
it's like the kick-ass side of dad rock, I guess. If that
Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, I get
Could-
it.
Uncle Steve rock. It's like your Uncle Rock, kind of.
You're cool, uncle. But anyways,
Yeah, your cool Uncle Rock. Okay, regardless.
we're digressing. But anyways, yeah, this is kind of the furthest progression, but it's probably one of their best. No, because it is really Led Zeppelin inspired, and like especially like Corin Tucker, you can hear like she gives Robert Plant a run for his money, like on the Fox opening track. And a lot, like the 4-song stretch that starts with what's mine is yours to Jumpers to Modern Girl to Entertain might be or is the best stretch of songs they ever did. Probably like my top 4 songs they ever did. There's a lot of great stuff there. Like yeah, and this has a bunch of badass guitar solos. They never really did that. Like a lot of that was inspired by opening for Pearl Jam the year before. Went on tour with them and we're doing stadiums, which they'd never done before. So they kind of got the confidence to do a record like this. And then you have like the Let's Call It Love, which is like an 11-minute jam session, which goes directly into Nightlight for a cool finish. And it's a lot darker than their other records. Most of them were just kind of activism, kind of, feminism and stuff. But
Right. Like a
They're talking
right,
more-
right, girl.
Riot Girl, yeah. But by 2005, that was a dead movement, and they had outgrown it. And like
Riot
song
Woman.
Jumpers, which is one of their most popular songs, is about Carrie Brownstein wrote it about people jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge to commit suicide. And the lyrics there are really powerful, especially at the end where she just screamed like 4 seconds was the longest wait over and over again.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But I mean, it's probably one of their most consistent albums. There's not many skips in here. My only complaint is that like, well, it's a strength too. But like Dave Fridman, they used him for the first time. He's the Flaming Lips main producer. And it's a lot of it. It's really fuzzy. A lot of distortion and feedback. And a lot, like a car, it sounds terrible. And sometimes the lyrics, the vocals get a little bit drowned out. But overall, he kind of pushed them to go more this direction and leave their comfort zone. So overall, I think he did a good job. But still, the sound isn't my favorite, which is what keeps it from being my absolute favorite album by them, I think. Yeah,
Is
good
the
stuff.
memoir any good so far?
Yeah, I finished it today. It's actually really good. Like, and like it starts off every memoir I've read. Like, you think you're interested in like the people you look up to, like their childhood, but they're actually not that interesting. When they get to the good stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. She doesn't talk about Portlandia any at all. It's really just about Sleater-Kinney, which is fine by me, but might disappoint some people.
I mean, you were talking about in the chat. You're basically saying that like this is a person like you're talking about like she was talking about growing up and just listening to like all this music. It's like wow, it's like you're talking about like in comparison to, like Kim Gordon's memoir, where it was
Yeah,
like
she's like an artist who's just like talking about like she would just like name drop a bunch of like random people, like who the hell, like a bunch of designers and just a bunch of like visual artists, and like they're important, but yeah, I just don't give a shit. Here, like her journey is very much like ours, I would say, in terms of like her love of music and her fandom. So yeah, it's kind of cool to hear about that.
Would you recommend it?
Oh, I definitely recommend, especially if you're a fan, and even if you aren't, like I think it's a good book. Like especially near the end, it gets kind of more personal, and like you learn she's a person too, guys.
Yeah, best new memoir, everyone. BM, BNM.
9.3.
all right. So TJ, what'd you listen to this week, buddy?
Well, this week the thing I listened to the most is the new Neon Indian record.
It's so good.
Oh, Vega International Night School. Oh my
It's so
God.
good.
And let me preface this. I haven't really been getting into Neon Indian before this record too much. Like I've heard of him, obviously. I listened to like the big singles, like Polish Girl, Change of Coast, etc. That kind of stuff. I didn't really listen to the albums in full, but I always liked his singles. So when I heard this was coming out, I was like, I might as well check it out. And I kind of saw the hype that was going on in the subreddit, and I was extraordinarily interested. And I had listened to the singles that had dropped before, Annie, Slumlord, which were just so good. Annie was on my rotation for the longest time. Just that kind of like reggae inspired, so good. And then Slumlord, of course. But then just those songs in the context of the album. Annie's the second song on the record after like a little intro hit parade. But just in the context of this record, and I was reading somewhere, I'm not sure where, it might have been Pitchfork actually, I'm not quite sure, but maybe not. The cover of this album is so good. It's like you see the cover of this album and you know what you're about to listen to. It's he's kind of got like that Prince stance going on. Alan is just he's a total character, and it's just that kind of late night aesthetic. And I haven't listened to this during the day. I'm just gonna say that. I just don't feel right listening to this when the sun's still up. It just doesn't. This thing is so good.
Actually, fun for home before sorry to interrupt you, but actually the cover was actually designed by the guy who made the Currents cover too.
I think I was saw like a little. I like almost watched like a clip of that guy. I mean, Currents, say what you will, Matty.
It's another win for the album.
I'm not going to talk about it. I just want to mention they did the album cover for Currents,
Yeah,
and it's a cool album cover. I like that album cover.
I was going to say what you will, but the album cover is pretty great.
Yeah.
But that's because Kevin Parker didn't touch it. Anyways,
already fits quite well. I like you, TJ. You're gonna be a good member on this podcast.
Okay. Anyways,
yes, you agree with me.
Nick, I swear to fucking God, dude. Okay, anyways, keep talking about the Indian.
So I've always found this guy kind of interesting. I've always kind of kept up with him. I haven't really listened to his music. Anyways, going back to the record, it starts off with the hit parade, kind of a little minute long, and then Annie, like the little reggae, it's so catchy. It's every song on this album, almost every song, is something that I can see myself dancing to by myself. And trust me, I have been doing that. It goes to Street Level, which is just another great. Just the details on this album and the tiny little it's an album that you want to listen to with great headphones on, because just the production value is so tight and so crisp in points, but then also just really like watery in other points. And I think a pretty good representation of that is Smut, which Smut is that, which is my favorite song on the record. It just has that intro.
It's that synth intro where he lets the note play. It's like it makes me want to come in my pants. It's so good.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. That's
to be honest.
And
Smut's
great.
Wait, what do you say, Nick?
How do you wake up in the morning?
How do I wake up in the morning? Let's see. I wake up really tired in the morning.
Oh my god. Then you.
I wake up
Reasons
really
to
tired
live.
because I stay up late. Let's see. I wake up just like you and me. I maybe regret what I did. I maybe regret some things, like I wake up like everyone else. I regret some things I said. I thought about last night. I'm like, I probably should have gone to bed earlier, but whatever. It happened. I just I let it happen. Yeah. Anyways, Nick. Okay, please keep talking because Nick is getting me off rails, and I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot like I did last week. So please stop it, Nick. He's again. He's got the mods. Have the mods corrupted you, Nick? Have they turned you into a double agent for the podcast or something?
The
You're trying to
mods?
ruin me? Yeah, the mods. The
I don't
mods
know what
hate
you're talking
us.
God,
Yeah.
fucking damn
They
it.
do.
Is this
That's
what this
'cause you're
podcast
annoying.
is?
Okay,
Matty.
okay. This is Is this a
Anyways.
bit, Nick?
Neon Indian, Big International Night School. I'm talking about the record.
That's the name of the record.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the track Smut, I was talking about the little subtle details, but Alan's like, and she took me to night school. Oh yeah, and then you got the little guy in the back. Hey, that's the name of the record. Just like little touches like that throughout the entire thing.
But that's weird. Like,
s-
hey, that's the name of the record.
Well,
There's
it's
a
not-
lot of really cool
What?
details. Just the production in general is just like really like detailed and just
I think
has
it's
all
pretty
this really
quiet,
cool
though.
stuff in there.
And
It's one of the best pop albums of the year. Like it's such a great album. Like I said, Slumber's like it's already up there on my song of the year list.
Hey, I don't listen to pop music. Don't call it pop. Come on. We're on Indieheads right now. Please.
For
Nick,
real.
I
Pop
swear to
sucks.
fucking God, man, you are just your humor is drier than the fucking Sahara Desert. I want to
Is it
grab.
dry, though?
I want to grab
Yeah.
sand from the Sahara Desert.
I think it's pretty moist right now.
Is Ollie here?
Yes, I am. I just I'm muted.
I just,
I'm doing-
it's like
doing
wait,
stuff.
there's somebody. I was like, there's somebody
There
else.
he is.
But yeah, this album's great. I really love this album. I know it's not the album that I've danced to, like the album that like I danced to the most this year. Like on that first listen, to Empress Sub's album, I was jamming in my office to that. Like I was the only one in my office, and I was just like getting down to that album. It's so good, and I just haven't had that experience since. But still, it's a really good album. And this album's like great because it's a lot more. It's just so detailed, and like he creates this little universe with this album that like it's so
Yeah.
good. Like
And he has a lot of great influences. I think
Mhm.
he takes from chill wave, of course, which is basically his genre. I mean, say what you want about. I really don't want to talk about this fucking vaporwave, but I mean, I guess he does kind of.
Vaporwave, again, you have to, again, do you not remember what, again, Vaporwave is the future. This is a legitimate quote from Anthony Fantano that he told us personally, okay? And I take his word for it. But yeah, Vaporwave, if you add influences of Vaporwave, like, it could be good. Like, it could work.
Yeah.
But, like, full on
Did he
Vaporwave.
say it ironically or did he say it seriously?
I
Ironic-
feel
I said
like he definitely
ironically.
did not say
He said
that.
it ironically. Come on,
seriously.
bro. Jesus Christ. Come on, son.
Anyways, I'm just gonna wrap up here. My favorite 3 tracks on the record, like as a piece. Well, I just want to say that this album as a whole is a really good piece. A lot of the tracks blend into each other really well, especially like this little trilogy of Slumlord's Release, and Techno Click. They all have the kind of same chord progression, and they got the kind of same beat, but Alan kind of mixes it up on each one and makes it own little unique track, and it just flows so well. Personally, the last couple songs, I'm not the biggest fan of. C'est La Vie is pretty cool. It has a little beat change. 61 Signy Ave, I'm not really that hot on, and same with News from the Sun. But the rest of the album, I really like, and it's probably a contender for top 10 for me so far this year.
The one thing this album that does right, it's like, holy crap, like the middle is the best part of the album, which is like really strange because it's almost always the first couple tracks or it's the like last couple tracks, but like this album, it's like the middle has the best songs. It's like a Twinkie, It's
Kind of like
you
The
got the
Woods.
good stuff
Right.
packed in the middle. But yeah, this album's great. I talked about it last week, but like I stumbled through talking about it because I was tired. But yeah, great album. Definitely, please check it out. We'll probably talk about it. Well, I think we might talk about it in like a couple weeks when we do our album catch up.
Yeah.
But I think we discussed it in depth, so Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, what'd you listen to?
I listened to Pink by Boris. Boris is a experimental electronic. No, wait, shit. Okay, they're a Japanese hard rock band. They're very prolific too. Their first album was released in 1996, and since then they've released 22 albums. So
Jesus.
yeah.
Oh boy.
So yeah, this is like their 10th album. Yeah, this is their 10th album. Um, 2005. It's actually really good. Um, like if you've pretty good hard rock, some math rock elements. I mean, is the vocals are actually like if I don't know if any of you guys have listened to Japanese music before, but I think of the variety of vocals in Japanese music is pretty interesting because like you get one song and it's like a female Japanese vocalist with like high pitches and stuff like that. But honestly, like if you can't really tell what the lyrics are, obviously since it's in Japanese, and I don't think any of you guys speak Japanese, but the
Not
the
really.
voice, the voice of the lead singer of Boris is actually really like it's actually really like I don't know like relatable. It's kind of a weird word, but like it's easy to like listen to. It's not like intimidating because it's in a different language. It's kind of like
Mhm.
the lead singer of Sigur Rós or something like that, John
It
C.
can it conveys emotion without using language, basically.
Yeah, yeah. It's not even like really emotion either. Like I don't know if you guys like just listen to lyrics and you're just like listening to the voice, not really like for specific emotions, but just kind of like to listen to the voice.
Yeah,
But
I
I
usually
mean,
do that on my first listen of a record. I don't really get into the lyrics until like I listen to a record for like the second time. I feel like
yeah,
it's kind of like a healthy way to go about it.
yeah. But I mean, yeah. This album is pretty good. It's probably one of my favorite albums. And I mean, they still have such like a big discography. I haven't really listened to a lot of their stuff. I've only listened to maybe like 3 or 4 of their albums. But yeah, cool album. You should listen to it.
You should talk about it in FYC.
Oh, last time I did an FYC was god awful, so I don't really.
I mean, yeah, but
think
you
I
were
should
rushed for
cover it.
time, and I think now there's a 12-month waiting
Yeah.
list, so I think you should.
I don't know
be
if
good.
I don't know if this album. I don't know if Boris would really fit in there. Boris can. Some people talk about Boris as metal, even though they're not. I mean, like, is
I
Def
mean,
Heaven
we've
on
had
this
hip
list?
hop on there before. We've had hip hop. We've had death.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, is
Again, FYC. I consider FYC a place to talk about music that like wouldn't exactly like. Sometimes, for the most part, it's indie music, but sometimes it wouldn't fit under the indie label. Like Danny Brown, he's very much hip hop, but also he has a lot of indie
Yeah.
influences. Where it's
that
like,
was the first one I remember. Yeah,
it's like
but I
we
like.
should talk about him.
I don't know. They're not even like a really big indie influenced either. Like I think if there was an FYC that I would do, I'd probably want to make it a more influential album that I mean like I don't know. I feel like FYC like in terms of like writing about something that I think deserves to be an essential. Like I don't even think this album deserves to be an
I
essential.
mean,
It's not,
FYC. I mean, here's the thing. It started off as a thing where it's like, oh, this album should be on the essentials, but now it's just like it's basically just album of the week.
yeah,
and,
okay.
and that's why I put maybe should be on the essentials, and it's
All
like
right.
it's more or less just album of the week that the users.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah. I think I mean, like, I'm not even very well versed in Boris either. I've listened to the albums that I have from them are Pink, Flood, and Akuma no Uta, which are like the 3 most popular albums that. And I've only listened to like Flood like once, but I think that I don't know. I'd probably choose an album that I like. I guess care about more. Even and I still really like Pink, but I think that like I don't know like actually I'm already writing a Indieheads history post for On Fire by Galaxy 500, which is a really amazing album, and I think, and I mean that's on the essentials I think already, but I don't know. Yeah, I'd probably choose a different album. I still really like Pink, but I don't know. It would just feel weird for me to write an FYC about it. Just my opinion. I'd probably choose a different album though. Maybe like the Stone Roses or something.
All right.
Or I mean I'm just like looking at a list of albums that I like because there's so many, and I mean like I don't know like nobody really talks about. I don't know if you guys have heard of this band, but And You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead on the subreddit,
Yeah, they
and I
got-
think that
they
they're
got a 10.
really yeah they did get a 10 from Pitchfork. They got one of the first 10s um, for source tags and codes, and nobody really talks about that. I don't think if I've ever seen them mentioned on the subreddit, it's maybe been like once or twice, but they're really good, and I don't know. I maybe. I mean, I could write it about Pink. I could write about anything really, but I mean, like another band, Coil. Coil is really good, and nobody really ever talks about them, except maybe a few times. But and like I try to bring those up occasionally, but I don't know. Yeah, I really like Pink, and I mean, if you are like into like harder rock, like Cloud Nothings, or like I'm trying to think of something like Queens of the Stone Age, maybe. Like this band would probably be for you if you've ever been curious.
Yeah, that sounds like me, so I might check them out.
Yeah. If you're ever curious about like getting into music that's in a different language, even though like that's not really important.
I'm interested because like I'm marginalizing myself because English is just one language. There's so many languages, so if you're just limiting yourself to just English music,
and this is another thing. Like, I don't know if any of you guys are this way, but one of my favorite albums ever is an album in Russian. I talked about this like a few months ago, I think, in the chat. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like music in different languages is like not always that difficult to enjoy. Like sometimes it is, but like most of the time I think it's not. It doesn't, like, it being in a different language doesn't prevent a lot of people from really enjoying stuff like Seguro Ross, which is probably the most popular example, or like like doesn't Arcade Fire have some like songs entirely in French? Do any of you guys know?
Some
a lot of
songs.
parts.
Yeah,
not a lot.
Like hate.
Okay.
Parts
most
of the
that
songs
songs are
are
French.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, like a lot of American bands, like English bands, have like huge international, like in South America and like Japan and Asia and stuff. So definitely, I definitely.
Does vaporwave count?
I don't know.
Vaporwave's not music.
Fuck
It's
off!
a movement.
Oh my god!
It's an art experiment.
Okay. Yeah, now that I think about it,
Which album was that, Nick?
just to kind of like finish up, Pink is a really good album for people to listen to. Like, it's a really good starting point for like multiple things. If you like are interested in music of a different language, or if you're interested in music of like a genre that you haven't listened to, like stoner rock, metal. Yeah, so that's it. It's a really good album. You should listen to it.
All right.
And they have a humongous discography, so if you like Pink, then you should listen to all their other stuff too. All right, I'm done.
All right, Ellie, you can were you about to talk, Ellie?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, Ellie, you can unmute your mic now. I was gonna say you can unmute your mic now and talk.
No, it's unmuted.
All right, nice. Okay, talk about what you listened to this week.
All right, so this week I listened to Fading Frontier by Deerhunter, and I'm really liking it. It's not like, for me, it doesn't reach the same heights as some of their other albums, but it's consistent. I really enjoy it. It's very pleasant. It has some cool stuff on repeated listens that you notice. Some of my favorite tracks from it are probably Duplex Planet, Take Care, and Snakeskin. Snakeskin really stands out because of how it's probably the most aggressive thing on the album, whereas everything else is fairly laid back. It's very aggressive.
That's my favorite album. That's my favorite song on the album.
And also, my favorite songs on this album keep on changing. Like, I'll find something like on each listen I like better than another song that I thought was my favorite. So it's really cool. I have to say the one track I'm not really digging is Leather and Wood, though. I'm just like, it's really nice if you have nice headphones, but if you're not, which most of the time I don't, it's just kind of like, eh.
I actually don't mind the song. I actually didn't. I think I liked every song on the new Deerhunter. It was just but it was like varying degrees of liking. It was like, okay, I like this, but like, I liked it because it was more. It was kind of a change of pace. It was a lot more experimental than most of the other, like pretty much like most of the album. And I dug it. I didn't mind that track when people were just like, "Oh, I don't like that track." It's like, "Oh, okay, whatever." I kind of dig it.
Also,
Ollie, I'm.
Sorry, what were you saying? What were you saying?
I'm just curious how you personally rank the other Deerhunter records, and how would you compare it to Fading Frontier? The rest
I would say Halcyon Dead is my favorite, followed by Microcastle and Weird Era, and then I'd probably rank it right after that, and then Monomania and Cryptograms. I have not listened to Turn It Up Faggot yet.
No, don't say the word. Don't. You already said the word. Okay,
it's the title. It's the title, dude. It's not. It's the title.
Podcast is canceled, though. I mean, again, Deerhunter.
Turn It Up.
Deerhunter, they're problematic. Okay, you can't just
Turn It Up. Bundle of Sticks.
You can't turn it up to problematic 11. Anyways, okay. Speaking of, actually, I'm gonna segue. Okay, do you have anything else to say about Deerhunter's album, Allie, or anyone else here?
AJ, you're objectively wrong.
AJ's wrong.
Yes.
AJ's wrong. He shit on this album on Twitter. Anyways, speaking of, the funny thing about this album is that it's the best Beach House album released in 2015. Of course, compared to Depression Cherry, and the album we're going to be talking about today, Beach House, Thank Your Lucky Stars. So if you guys do not know, Beach House, no one's appreciating that segue. No one?
I was going to say,
also,
because it didn't make sense. It
Fading
makes
Frontier
sense.
is the
You
best.
said-
Okay, I will redo the segue.
Yeah, you
Okay.
said.
forgot
I
about
think
Ad
you said.
Astra.
I think you messed it up. I think you said "Fading Frontier" was the best Beach House album released this year.
It
And I
is.
was like, did he really just say that? And I was like,
It does
no, he
not make
couldn't have.
sense.
You know what was the best Tame Impala song released this year? Ad Astra. Easily the best. Actually, no, Let It Happen. Was the
No, you
best.
know,
Afterlife.
you know
Sad,
the best. Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what the best Tame Impala song released this year was? I mean, of course, objectively, the less I know, I
Just Let
bet.
It
I mean,
Happen.
That's okay. That's actually really like that song a lot, even though it has that terrible Trevor line, but it's
Fucking
still
I-
a
I
great
was
song.
gone for a minute.
The bass
You
line
guys
is
talking
so
good about
tasty.
currents?
It's just like
I didn't bring it up
Yeah.
this time. I didn't bring it up this time, Will. They did. They did.
See,
It.
I
They're trying to mess with me.
do we want to finally do this?
Do what? Are we gonna fight about currents?
hash out currents.
Okay, we
It's-
we have to talk
I'm-
about our main topic, but we can't fight about currents right now. We cannot.
Fuck the
Late night.
Okay, fuck it. We're gonna talk about currents. Fuck it.
No,
let's fight about currents. Fuck it. Let's go. Let's do this.
Oh, let's get it.
Can
Okay.
of worms.
Anyways,
Jesus,
anyways, Beach House. They are a Baltimore dream pop band, and this is their 6th album, which is coming out just less than 2 months after their last album, Depression Cherry. Hold on a second, guys.
Yeah, while Matty's fumbling around in his room, I just want to say something about the fact that Depression Cherry got released. I mean, no, that Thank Your Lucky Stars got released so soon after Depression Cherry. I said something about this before, but that has to be the most ridiculous thing that's happened this year in the indie scene. Like I don't even
by far.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I because going into this year, I don't think we knew anything about the new Beach House album.
Oh no.
We didn't have
Were
anything. We
weren't
didn't.
there
I mean, it was-
tracks like those like
for-
couple like unreleased tracks performed? On
yeah,
the
like
exposure tour?
live snippets.
Yeah, that was it.
That's the best thing we had was live snippets. But I mean, we've had songs from like Radiohead, and Radiohead isn't releasing their album this year. So I mean, we had like basically no information.
That's because they're
So-
releasing 2 albums next year.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Where were you when Beach House announced they had Lucky Stars? Because like
I was
Jesus.
probably
I
on
was in
Indieheads.
class.
I was probably on Indieheads.
we were
Yeah, me too.
way this year. I mean, say what you want about the 2 records, but we were pretty overdue for some new Beach House coming into this year. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
2012 was the last record.
they're a pretty
that.
consistent band. I mean, like they've released an album every 2 or 3 years, right? They start out in like 2006.
2006, 2008, 2010. It's every 2 years. It's been every 2 years.
It's been about
'Cause-
every 2 years. I mean,
Yeah.
and then now it was 3 years. But
Yeah.
I mean, let's. I just want to clear it up. Like, when Depression Cherry was released, we were like, okay, we got our Beach House album, and then they
Yeah.
just come out with another album. That is just ridiculous. It's so unlike Beach House because they're kind of
Yeah.
following the typical formula of just releasing an album every 2 years, and then they just go ahead and they're like, oh, hey, we have another album. It's,
Yeah.
it's like,
Somebody said on the
okay.
subreddit that this must be what like Deerhunter fans felt like back in the
That was
day.
me.
That was you? Hey.
Yes.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
up, man?
So,
Oh, it was Microcastle and Weird Era where they released at the same time?
year.
Same
Same
year.
year.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, that's a good comparison. But yeah, I just wanted to say that. I mean, like doesn't really have anything to do with the music, but
Mhm.
the fact that
But it
a band like
totally
Beach
does.
House.
Just for some context.
No, I'm not talking about the quality of the albums. I'm just talking about
Right.
the fact that a band like Beach House released two albums in such a short span is a really big surprise, and that's really one of the most amazing things that's happened this year. So, yeah, that's just what I wanted to say. So we can start talking about the actual music now.
All
That's
right.
new year.
Sass.
So I'm just gonna say, okay. So basically, like all Beach House albums, this album it is nice and pleasant. Would we all agree this album is nice and pleasant?
There's nothing
Sure, absolutely.
wrong with this album sonically.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'll say
yeah.
that.
It's nice and
Actually,
pleasant to listen to. I
I-
don't hate myself. It's nice and enjoyable to listen. Oh, what were you gonna say, Ali?
I have one complaint sonically.
Uh-huh.
She's so lovely. The song
I like that.
structure-
Fuck you
Song.
guys. I like that song. I actually really like that. That's
Yeah, I-
No.
you know,
Never
I'm like-
mind.
you know, hot take. That's my favorite song on the album.
Oh
I
my
enjoy
god.
it, but the way they structured the song, it gets old faster than it should. Like it's the same length as most songs that they put out, but it feels like it's way longer because they put
So
the bridge right
slow.
after the first chorus.
Yeah.
And then
And it has
because
a-
of that,
That's
I
my
hate it.
favorite.
When I heard it in the single context, like when they released those first 3 tracks, I listened to all 3 of them, and that was by far my least favorite.
Yeah.
Then in the context of the album, I like it a lot more. I'm not, it's not my
It's
favorite.
still my
I'll get into that.
I think it.
But yeah, it's a good track. I like it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I mean, we'll get to this, I'm sure, but I think that it kind of hangs itself on a weak melody. You know,
You could say that with most of the fucking songs of this album. Like,
you're right. You could, but
You can say that about
What do you mean by like a weak melody? Do you mean like a
no?
weak
Okay,
melody?
I just mean that the song that this album, it's just like it lacks the interesting ideas that their previous albums had. Like this album, it just again, I think Fantano talked about this in his review, saying that it's basically just like a remake of the first album. It's basically the first album with a bigger budget, but because of that bigger budget, that takes away the interesting things about that self-titled album. Like it's actually the self-titled is actually like my second favorite album from them, because it has like little lo-fi and just like lo-fi elements to it that are just like really low budget. And it's like it's obviously like they just did this in their like they did this like when like in their spare time.
Yeah,
and it was,
I'm just curious.
Wait, what? You guys like three people just talk at the same time.
I'm just curious, just moving forward, just so we don't get into crazy hive mind here. If anybody here like really liked this record, I'm just curious if somebody like if any of you guys like really like this album.
I don't think any of us would give it above.
I mean, like, it's not like
8.
I don't love it, but I think I might like it more than you guys do, though. Actually,
I don't know.
That's fair.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, okay. So like, I really like sometimes this is kind of hypocritical of me because I hate when people make the criticism this album isn't good because the band isn't changing up their sound at all.
Thank you.
I don't like doing that, but in this case, it's just like Beach House is doing the same. Like they're doing the same stuff over and over, and I mean I love Beach House. Like they're great.
Yeah,
and I have a really deep appreciation for like shoegaze and dream pop. And I really love seeing bands these days go out and do that, like Pink Shiny Ultra Blast from this year. One of the there's not been a lot of shoegaze music from this year, but they've definitely been one of the main revivalists.
I think the problem is I understand where you're coming from. I'm gonna just guess for you, Nick, is that they're actively regressing because their albums have like a 3 cycle. It's like Beach House self-titled, it's a unique album. Devotion, it's kind of a that first album with like a bit more of a budget but still kind of keeping the simplicity of it. And then Teen Dream is like, they're now on a bigger label, so they have a bigger budget, and it's just a complete expansion of their sound where they're adding more elements and whatnot. And then Bloom was basically just like, it's pretty much like, in terms sonically, it's pretty like much the same to Teen Dream. And then Depression Cherry is very comparable to Devotion, and this new album is very comparable to their self-titled.
Well, yeah, I mean, I actually haven't listened to their self-titled as much as I think I should have, but can anybody that has listened to it answer this question? Do they use live drums on the self-titled album?
No,
okay. They don't. It's drum machines.
Not at all.
Okay,
machines. That
is the most and I will admit that like Beach House records all sound the same, but it's not like they're all exactly the same. They still change stuff from each one.
Okay,
like,
here's the thing: they have a formula, and it's very obvious they have a formula. It's just a matter of what ingredients do they add to this formula.
Yeah, exactly.
And, but they're taking this time around they're taking away ingredients from the formula and then adding just like bad ones, and it's like, why?
Well, what bad ones? Like I think that the live drums, which is one of the things that they added, is one of the best improvements that they could have made because it gives their songs a kind of energy where that wasn't there. And I mean, like even though they kind of
the live drums, I think maybe there's some tracks.
It seems like
the live drums
on like
they didn't
major.
They didn't do it on all the tracks. There's still tracks where they
no, it's not on all the tracks. But there are a few tracks where it's pretty apparent though, like Majorette, One Thing.
Wait, Major had drum machines on it.
I'm pretty sure it sounds like live drums.
No, it was
Some of them have
drum machines for Majorette.
It was drum machines, dude. Did you not hear the intro? Like, if you hear the intro and go, "Oh wow, those are live drums," you're not listening well enough, Nick.
Yeah. All right. You know what?
No. I'm sorry to be mean to you, but like,
somebody get some.
I thought I
pepper
heard a
for
live drum
salt
too.
to have over here.
I actually heard the live drums.
All right, maybe I just can't tell the difference, but
I think there maybe could have been some live drums, but like that intro is flat out drum machines.
Maybe it was just drum machines with more energy.
Maybe
that
interesting.
There were some live drums though. Like Chris Bear played on a couple songs.
I think that's my biggest problem with like the
Wait,
Beach
Chris
thing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Chris Bear was on this record?
Christopher Bear played drums on the song.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
And in Depression Cherry as well.
Really?
Yeah, he played on Sparks and PPP.
Wow, one of the other albums I was gonna because before we did the start of the podcast, we were thinking about doing 2 albums for what we listened this week, and I was thinking about doing Shields, Grizzly Bear. But I did not know that Chris Bear was on this record because I've been getting really into them, and he's what a great drummer Chris Bear is.
Oh yeah.
Sidetrack, little digression here, but like, what a great drummer.
Yeah, I really like Grizzly
That whole
Bear
band
too.
is just insanely talented. Like everyone in the band is amazing.
I love Oh my! I've been getting really into them lately. I love Grizzly Bear. I've slept on them for so long, but
Yeah.
now.
I listened to Shields on the way to class this morning, and it was rainy and everything. And I was walking in the rain, and it was perfect.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
It's
Okay,
perfect.
anyways, let's get back to
Well,
things.
yeah, going back to the
let's
drums.
get back to Thank Mr. Luckstar.
Even if
Dude.
even if there were still drum machines, and I know there were still live drums. I can tell there were live drums on like one thing in particular. Well, the song, one thing. I'm 99% sure that was live drums, because when they played it live, there were live drums. So
Okay, man.
I mean, that's,
I think there definitely probably were live
but
drums.
even then, the drums still sound more energetic and like upbeat than the other songs. Like I don't know, like Levitation.
Yeah.
You know, Nick, I'm gonna apologize for being mean to you earlier. I'm very sorry that I said that. But also, I think it just ties into this album. It's just forgettable to me. Like, I mean, that was my biggest complaint with Depression Cherry, that album was just forgettable, and this album is just like they made an even more forgettable album. Like, what the fuck?
See, I'm gonna swerve here. I disagree with you.
Ooh.
I think this is an improvement. I mean, I still don't think that. I think they could have done better. But this, I much prefer this to Depression Cherry. Very much prefer this.
Okay, that's fair.
Because like Nick was saying,
I'm actually gonna agree with you that it is better than Depression Cherry.
See, I will
it has
have
energy. Depression Cherry lagged so like Levitation just kind of lags, and those last 3 tracks on Depression Cherry for me are just brutal. They're just excruciating to listen to.
Well, I'll have to
just
disagree with you there, Will. I'll have to disagree with you. I think
Counterpoint.
Counterpoint, hearsay, legal things. I think that Depression Cherry, compared to Thank You Lucky Stars, has... Well, we were talking about the context of this album earlier and how it only comes out 2 months afterwards. I think that has a big part of
why you were so like... I think they should have sat on this, no doubt.
Yeah, well,
not even for a long time, just till like next winter, till the spring or summer.
Yeah, they definitely should have waited a couple more months to put this out, not
let
less than 2 months afterwards.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
I'm a fan of Beach House. I like their sound. I love Teen Dream. That's one of my favorite albums of all time. And when Depression Cherry came out, I was hyped, and I really liked what they were doing on this. And one of the write-ups that they had on the Sub Pop website, they were talking about how it is a more stripped-down record, and it is more simplistic, and they're kind of going back to what makes their formula. And they have a great formula, and I think in Depression Cherry, they kind of figured out what the essence of it was, and they kind of perfected it. I do think that on Thank You Lucky Stars, they realized, we have this great formula, and hey, we can make a record that's a little more mellow, a little more, laid back, but we can also stick with this like kind of simplistic formula. And I feel like they do have some great songs on Thank You Lucky Stars. Elegy to the Void is a standout for me. Somewhere Tonight.
Yeah, I like that song too.
But the reason I like those songs is that they're kind of not the most formulaic sounding Beach House songs on there. Especially Somewhere Tonight, kind of has that 50s. Fantano, I think he said it perfectly. It's like the last
like with
dance.
The cover, kind of.
Yeah. Fantano said the Somewhere Tonight, it has that kind of like 50s last dance, prom, under the sea enchantment dance kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it has that kind of formula, but it has the Beach House sound mixed on top of it, which I think makes it different than the rest of the songs on the record. And also, Elegy to the Void, at least the first half, is not your typical beach housey song. It has those really interesting synths on there. And I think that's, and I think it's the most dreamy. It's the dreamiest of all the dream pop songs that they've put out on this record, I think. But the formula that they're using, it's kind of gotten old and tired, and especially 2 months after another record. I mean, they definitely should have sat on this for at least a couple more months.
Till 2016, at least, till calendar flips.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my take.
I think this album starts off really strong. Majorette is like, it's already a top 10 beach house song for me, easy. I love that, the melody. And I love that drum intro with the kick. It's kind of, even if it's not live, it's kind of energetic, and I like it. And then that syncopated guitar,
Yeah.
I really dig that. It's
very teen dreamy. Very teen dreamy.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah,
And then
I'll Cheat the
Piece
Boy
of Love,
actually, that's
like,
probably my favorite song on the album, in my opinion. Or you guys are talking about Majorette, but I think I'll Cheat the Boy. You guys talk about
yeah,
that.
Majorette, definitely. That just like it's the exact opposite of Levitation.
Yeah.
Where Levitation was trying to just bring you in slow. Majorette, they just throw you right in. Well, the Beach House equivalent of throwing you right in, at least.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
then,
it's like slightly pushing you into the pool. Like, come on, just get in the pool. Come on, get in the pool. Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys, just get in the pool. Let's go swimming. Let's go skinny dipping.
Come on, Cal.
Okay, but can I speak on this album? Okay, I think again the problem with this album is that it's not interesting. Like, in my opinion, of course, I think we all agree. I think can we all agree that like Teen Dream is their best album?
Yes.
I'm kind of partial to Bloom.
Me too.
Yeah,
no,
okay, so yeah,
back.
it's a you know it's a type
It's
of thing like
it's
Teen Dream.
traditional.
Teen Dream / Bloom.
Yeah, it's
that's
That's the pinnacle of their career. Everyone's going to compare every album they do. Oh, it's no Teen Dream or Bloom.
Exactly.
But
And I'm basically gonna do that right now because Teen Dream, at least, just to me, had their most interesting song ideas. There are really interesting song structures where they went outside this formula, like a song like Norway, like wearing it. The intro to Norway is so great. It's like these really great melodies, and then you have the intro to that Zebra. It's really great. They played up with their formula a little bit. They added some new things. They added more stuff. They kind of
Take Care.
They changed their structures a little bit. Or like you have a song, I think it's Tell My Stereo, where it's like, wow, it's like this is fast paced and this is like really intense and this is really emotional. And
the arpeggios on that song are fabulous on the guitar. Yeah, it's definitely just that's one of my favorite songs on the record because it's just different, from their.
I think that's hands down my favorite Beach House song, honestly. Like that's just
Stereo. That's up there, man. That's a good choice.
Yeah,
I wouldn't disagree with you.
Just all these great songs that were definitely different from those two other Beach House albums before it, and it was like, okay, like wow, they could be evolving. And then Bloom was more or less just kind of the same as Teen Dream, maybe a little less interesting because it was basically just Teen Dream 2. But like that was fine. It was like I can take another Teen Dream.
It was higher production value. It's one of the better produced albums I've heard so far this decade.
It was basically
that's a hot take.
It was basically just a mixing of like Teen Dream and like their old records. It was like an ultimate combination of everything they've done. It was like okay, and it was cool. I like Bloom. I think it's a really good album. And then Depression.
It was more synthetic sounding, kind of.
Yeah, it was a little. Yeah, it definitely didn't have the like
more electronic elements.
Mm-hmm. Like it just wasn't like
Matty, are you gonna? I'm kind of speaking ahead of you, but are you going to go ahead and say that like Depression Cherry and Thank Your Lucky Stars didn't really have any more interesting song ideas like some of the other?
Yes, and also it lacked the emotion of Teen Dream.
Okay.
Like, this album it doesn't make me feel like that emotional. Well, like there's songs in Teen Dream that like really hit me, and it's like wow.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of like agree and disagree at the same time because there are definitely some of the stuff on Depression Cherry is like it's a lot more like distant sounding. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like more
and I'm perfectly fine with
out
distant.
there and that's a new idea. I don't think they've really done that much before. I mean, some of their music was pretty upfront on Bloom and Teen Dream, but I mean the thing is they're still they're changing it up a little bit. It's not like most people won't think it's a change for the better because that more kind of quiet, slow, kind of like out there sound that they were going for on Depression Cherry, like I don't think that most people would be fan of that, and that's just a guess. I'm kind of generalizing, but I think that there were some kind of glimmers of hope in terms of like more interesting, exciting song changes. Like,
I mean, yeah, Sparks.
For instance, Sparks.
Yeah,
that's what I was.
Sparks.
That's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
But also, nobody's really talking about one thing, and the ridiculous guitar
solo.
solo.
I was trying to get to that.
I was going to talk
about
about the guitar.
I started with the opening track. I was going to kind of go through the album, but you interrupted me, Matty. God damn it.
One thing I want to say in response to Matty is I think it's kind of unfair to compare these two new albums to Bloom and Teen Dream because they actually said they intentionally didn't want them to sound like that in one of those write-ups they did. So just wanted to point that out.
I mean, obviously they don't want them to sound like those first two albums, but it's just like, well, those two albums are more interesting than these albums. I mean, again, it's just I'm gonna compare them. It's like I'm sorry that I know you're telling me like don't compare these albums to these other albums, but it's like I'm gonna do it inherently. Like I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm sorry, Victoria, and I'm sorry, Alex. I'm just gonna do it.
Well, here's the thing. I think that Depression Cherry and Thank You Lucky Stars to an extent are a reaction to Teen Dream and Bloom. They're not necessarily, we don't want to go and do, they're not trying to, do the opposite here, but they're saying, okay, this is what we are. And I think one of the things in the write-up was like, this is where we are commercially. This is where we are musically, sonically. We're going to do something different to an extent. We're going to perfect the formula. We're going to get down to the essence, and I respect that. I respect them as artists for doing that.
Okay, hold on. How old are Beach House again?
They're
They're
almost
over
10 years old.
Uh,
10 years old.
No, I'm talking about with your actual ages. Like, are they like in their 30s
Oh,
or something?
they're like their mid 30s. Yeah, Victoria.
Oh, this definitely sounds like now they in their mid 30s.
See, but things for me like something we haven't talked about yet. It's like, but like there's still like I think all these songs are interesting on their own, right? Like All Your Yaz, I really like that one. It kind of has that stripped back intro with the guitar, and like intro, it almost kind of sounds like a warning almost. It's like kind of sinister, and I like it.
Okay,
one thing.
I'll let you go, Will, before I say something.
Like All Your Yaz.
No, I was going to talk about one thing because you guys were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, one thing. Thing is, like, that's not like for me. Like, it really doesn't have anything melodically that interesting.
Yeah,
but it creates a really cool atmosphere that you can just kind of sink into.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of it kind of consumes
It's one of my
you.
favorites for sure.
Yeah, me too. And I think that this is kind of just me speculating and thinking into the future, but if they do an album of songs all like Sparks and One Thing with the guitars like crazy, because I think Alex Scully is a really good guitarist, and this really displayed it. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if we really could see that before, because the guitars in like Bloom and Teen Dream, like they weren't really more melody focused.
They're effects.
They're effects, kind of rhythm focused. Even though he was the only guitarist too, which is kind of an interesting approach. But the thing is, like,
his guitar.
You can go ahead.
Oh, the thing about his guitar, he's kind of like he reminds me of the Edge of YouTube. Kind of like it's not even what he plays; it's just that like he's a master of effects.
Yeah, it might not even be like that impressive. I mean, it still sounds great, but it might not even be like, and he creates a great atmosphere, and I mean, like it might not even be the most intense guitar solo ever, but it still sounds great. But I think that I think that if they wanted to, they could definitely do that, and it would definitely work really well, and I'd probably enjoy that album more than Depression Cherry or Thank Your Lucky Stars if it came out, in my opinion. But that's just me. That's.
Can I make my comment about one thing real quick?
Because and this is just one little thing, but like going into Depression Cherry, I think one of the reasons that I didn't really like it a whole lot is because I was expecting songs like Sparks over and over, because I love Sparks so much, and that didn't really happen.
I thought you liked Depression Cherry though. You said it's like your album of the year when it came out.
Oh yeah, everybody said that.
Yeah, well, you said that on the podcast after like a month of listening to it. You're like, you still loved it.
Well, I also said like Currents was my album of the year.
So you're flaky. Is what you're saying?
Actually, yeah. You know what?
I mean, Meek is the baby of the podcast, pretty much. I mean,
Wake Up by Pope Francis is already my album of the year, and nothing's gonna change. So,
okay, can I make my comment?
It's winning, checking off every category: album of the year, meme of the year. It's just off the charts.
No. When I saw that, I was like, "This is the best thing I've seen all year. This is like the best thing that ever happened."
This is
even though he didn't even make the album, like it's still.
Is that what I? Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought that's what I said about Depression.
No, it's like spoken word. It's like taking speeches from him and putting like instrumentals over it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys. I definitely this year in particular have hyped up albums right when they've come out and said that they're my album of the year, and then within 2 or 3 months I've just stopped listening to them. See, I Love You, Honey Bear, In Color. I don't know. Jenny Death, yeah.
I didn't say Jenny Death was maybe.
But guys, fellas, let's get on track.
Can I talk about one thing real quick?
Yeah. 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, one thing. Okay, I don't need that much time. The one thing, the intro to One Thing with like the distorted guitar, like the thing is you listen to it at first, like, holy shit, this song's gonna be really awesome. It's gonna go outside the Beach House formula, and then it just goes to a normal Beach House song.
One thing.
So I kind of like I said.
It's like,
I like it just because it has that atmosphere that at least for me, it envelops me kind of.
It's so close to being. It's like the intro. It's like you think you're getting like a really interesting song. That's like, holy shit, they're going outside their formula a little bit, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, they did go outside their formula with that song. I don't think that. I mean, if anybody wants to tell me any other Beach House songs with guitar solos.
Yeah, I think melodically, it was very formulaic. With
well, yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm just gonna say that the guitar solo is the only change. But it's such a drastic change, in my opinion, that like it still makes One Thing an outlier, in my opinion.
And I do want to talk about really quickly. Victoria's vocals on some of these tracks are phenomenal. They're different. They're so much different than what we've seen before, especially on. I'm just trying to think. Somewhere Tonight. her
Oh my
her
God, yes.
her vibrato on that is phenomenal.
How about The Traveler? Do you guys like? I think we were
Yes.
singing.
I
that.
love. I've been trying to get to that song. I love that song. It has these big, epic, kind of
Yeah.
sinister, like those the synths there,
Yeah.
and then she kind of goes above it, like.
Yeah, her voice.
Da-da-da-da.
I actually do like the Traveler. That's actually a good song.
I butchered the melody there because I'm not.
I think everyone
Toiler.
can agree that Traveler, Elegy to the Void, and Summer Tonight are like.
See, I'm not gonna agree with that.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'll agree with Altitude of
Yeah,
Void and
see-
Traveler, but I will not
see-
agree
see-
with Summer
when I
Tonight.
first
Because Summer
listened
Tonight
it,
to me
I
is
thought
just
Elegy
like.
of the Void-
Oh, I'll let you go, Will.
Okay, Elegy of the Void. Like when I first listened to it, that was one of the standouts to me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just the more I listen to it, I'm just like I don't really like anything about this track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
I
can
don't know.
see
It
where
just
you're
didn't interest
Alright.
me.
I don't think even.
I don't think we should try to generalize everybody's favorite songs because I think it'll be different for most
Yeah.
people for this record.
I
Yeah,
really
Sorry
because
about
because
that,
of-
I,
Sorry about that, folks.
Yeah, okay. I don't think it's very, and I mean, in some cases there is a pretty clear cut. You know, everybody's gonna like this song a lot, but
Major,
Yeah.
it's obviously the best song.
yeah, I mean, well, yeah, let's just leave that up to everybody else. But I mean, yeah, I think One Thing is probably my favorite song. I don't know if anybody else feels that way, but it's okay. All right.
So let's see. I'm just gonna go through another note. I know you guys are talking about her voice is really good in this album. It's like, okay, here's the thing. It's like an American Idol winner, you know? It's like, well, yeah, their voice is really good, but like, it doesn't like she doesn't really get me all that emotional on this album. Like, I just don't really like. Here's the thing.
She's
I
not
know,
like
I know we were
a-
talking about stuff like how she's kind of more like it's more played back and more like lonely and more sort of empty-ish. And the thing is, I recently I did a write-up on Demon Blunts the Redeemer, and that album is like empty as hell in terms of like emotions, but like it conveys that emotion so much better. Well, this album it just feels like empty in the wrong way, where it's like I'm not getting anything out of this. This is just no emotion. This is empty as an emotion. This is just no emotion, but kind of empty. It's like in that range where it's like there's some tracks in here that do make me kind of a little emotional, but like nothing on the level of Teen Dream. Like nothing hits me that hard.
I think some of the vocal performances are more like empty than others.
They're more
That's kind of weird to
traditional.
say.
I think
It's
the
hit or
reason,
miss, I think.
I think
I
the
think
reason
like The Traveler and Somewhere Tonight are probably the vocal standouts
Yeah.
in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
agree.
But
and I think
agree with
the
that.
main difference is that her voice sounds a lot different because Teen Dream had more of an androgynous kind of thing where it was a bit more like horsey a little bit, not horse like the animal, horse like my voice.
It's
is
not even
like
that.
this.
She
She
had
just sounded
to-
like it was just kind of dreamy and just kind of like
Yeah.
She
She
kinda-
sounds more
that's
dreamy.
really
She
nice.
sounds more. It's just like it's more kind of in her like a lower range. I would say.
Right.
No,
It
no,
was
not
a-
lower
it's
range. I
kind
mean
of a-
higher range. It's more of a
it's like
higher range.
It's an alluring contralto, and the first time I listened to that, I actually was like, I was really confused because that
Fucking
Teen
nerd
Dream
music
is the
theory shit, dude.
what?
Dude, you're fucking. I don't know what that word means because you must have studied music theory
Oh.
in college. I don't understand what that means.
Well,
Wait, what did he say?
He sits. Wait,
Al-
was it you or was it TJ or
That's
was
me.
that Ali?
It's contralto. You have soprano, which is like the higher female voice, and then alto, which is the lower female voice, and then you have contralto, which is like the lower female voice. And she had that kind of like huffy, like alluring voice on there. And the first time, that was the first Beach House record I listened to, and I listened to it for the first time. Listened to Zebra for the first time. I thought it was a dude. It's just like a really dude with like a really sexy.
When I first heard Myth, I was like, "Is this a guy?" And I looked up Victoria. I'm like, "Oh shit, this is not a guy."
yeah, she definitely has an interesting voice.
Which could be the thing is I'm not sure if it's just a thing where it's more just like because I mean I knew it was a girl right away, but it was still sort of like is that kind of a sexist thing with me inherently, or is it just like she just gave more,
I mean, I knew-
or is it just that
it just sounded like
No.
a girl to me.
It's
sounded
probably
like a girl with a deep.
probably a
or is it-
sexist thing.
Sounded like a contralto to me. That's what it sounded like.
or was it just she generally just gave a more emotional performance on Bloom and Teen Dream, which I it's probably the more emotional performance, but if you want to call me a sexist, I mean let's have a discussion.
Yeah,
That,
that's- I mean, it's not.
if you think
it
I'm a
just to me
sexist,
sounds-
please, if you make it, I'm gonna post a comment when I put this on YouTube. I'm gonna post a comment saying, if Matty is a sexist, please like this comment, and you can agree or disagree if I'm a sexist or not. But yeah, is there anything else? Have we not covered anything about this album yet that we want to talk?
I
I mean,
actually
yeah,
really like
basically,
Rough
like,
Song, and that was not mentioned so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say rough song. We didn't talk about that yet.
It was that for the reason.
It was a pretty rough song, guys.
I don't remember it. I literally,
No,
I,
but
can't,
it's-
I cannot tell you what that.
I'm thinking about it right now, and I don't remember what it sounded like. I'm
Exactly.
also
That's
going to
the
say
problem with this album.
Common Girl is kind of like an interesting homage, I guess, to devotion, sound of devotion. If any of you guys made that connection.
Yeah,
Common,
with the harpsichord.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, it was kind of brief, kind of just like in there, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really like that song
Actually,
much.
Common Girl gave me flashbacks to some stuff on the self-titled album, but like not as good.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
But not
That had the same piano rhythm as On
Yeah.
the Sea, of course. Which they were defending that in the music AMA,
Oh.
our music AMA. They were like,
I did
this.
not-
No,
I
in
didn't.
the
That's
AMA.
interesting.
Somebody said in the AMA that that they were like, do you guys know that like this like rhythm sounds exactly like On the Sea? And they were like, yes, we understand that. It's been used for like centuries. Like Mozart, they were like saying, I can't, don't quote me on this, but they were like, yeah, Mozart uses this, like everybody uses it. And I was like,
Yeah,
Jesus,
I remember.
fucking rock on, guys.
I think that's just a really like. It's like, oh well, all these artists used it before us. I mean, it's like maybe it's like yeah, use it before. Don't you like? Again, it's just thinking this album is just it's just such a formulaic. I mean, of course, everyone talks about the Hero Lies music reviewers like this album was more formulaic. You could probably feed it to babies.
Yeah.
And like at least Depression Cherry, I will give it props for being at least like it was a bit more atmospheric and it was a bit more like together. Like it felt more like. It definitely had the same kind of vibe throughout the entire album. Even with Sparks, it still had like the same little vibe throughout the album. But this album is a bit more, a little all over the place, which definitely can lead to better songs than Depression Cherry. But like the worst songs on here are probably worse than the worst songs on Depression Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that.
See, like basically my concluding statement is that it's similar to me in that in the structure too, like how like it starts off all right, but then gets worse at the end, kind of like Depression Cherry. But the difference here is that it starts off even better, and the drop off is less bad.
I know you guys were just praising somewhere tonight. I'm gonna say that's a weak outro. Maybe as a song itself, it's fine, but like as an outro, it was like, wait, that's it. To me, it just
I disagree. I think it was a great outro because again, it had that like Last Dance kind of sound. I mean, that's just my opinion personally. I feel like it had that like
I definitely now that I think about it, I definitely get that vibe, but still it just feels like wait, that's it. Okay, I mean, all right, I guess that's the end of the album. Okay, I guess I can listen to something better now.
Jesus,
okay, anyways, let's give a little final statement, final ratings, favorite tracks on the album. I'll go first since I'm the host. I mean, come on.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, favorite tracks. She's So Lovely. I like that song. Screw you guys. She's So Lovely, The Traveler, and Elegies of Void are my favorite tracks. Overall, this album, it's just like, I mean, Beach House, from like re-listening to the discography for this discussion, I think they've grown on me a little bit. Like if you did watch that Late Night Alone, I definitely was kind of shitting on them too much, and I definitely regret saying some of those things now that listening to some of the stuff in their discography where I respect their stuff a bit more. But at the end of the day, though, it's still, they have a formula, and this time around, they just didn't make the formula good. And it's like, they've done better, and I hope they can do better the next time around. Like, I think the Pitchfork review, they talk about, like, yeah, you guys should probably take a break. And that's right. Like, take a break, figure out some new sounds, do something different. Like, I know you guys are really talented, and I know you can do something different. So, like, do that next time, please, for me. And so overall, I'm going to give this album a rating of, let's see. I'm going to give this album 4 golden stars and a report card. Wait, no, hold on. 3 golden stars.
That was not a head
report card.
rating.
No, hold on.
Where's the head rating? Are we doing that still?
Hold on, head rating. Hold on, let me think about it. 3 golden stars put on a child's forehead to tell
That's
them
so
he did a good
fucking
job.
lazy. Jesus Christ, Matty. You literally just like implemented a head into your non-head rating that you had like 2 seconds ago. Like, Jesus Christ, you own this podcast.
I love you.
You guys.
Work a little harder.
I'll guys. I'll rethink mine. You guys do yours first, so I have more inspiration. Okay.
There you go. I'm happy now.
Okay. Well,
Okay, my head rating is I'm gonna give it a bobblehead. Like, yeah, like I'm dig like it's not like it's nothing enthusiastic, but like I'm enjoying it, up and down.
You forcefully
Alright.
like it.
Yeah, basically I like it, but it's not like I'm doing anything crazy with my head or nothing.
yeah, I'm gonna give this album, an indie head rating, because if you really like them and you're really into indie, I mean, I don't even know the fuck a head rating.
I mean,
is.
like
I
people.
just
People
fucking-
I'm gonna call out user individual. They like stand. They're probably the biggest stand on the subreddit for them. I called both albums a 10. So I mean, if that's what you're into, like.
Yeah, more power to you. If you like it, you like it, and some people will love this, and good for them. And I wish that I could, but thank your lucky stars. Which stars did I thank to deserve this? I'm just kidding.
I want to fire you already.
Oh, thanks.
I'll
buddy.
fire you already.
Shut
I'm
up,
giving
Nick.
give this album like a decent 7. I did like it a fair bit. A lot of good, couple standout tracks on here, but overall, kind of a weak spot in their discography. That's how I feel about it. What about you, Nick?
Okay. I would give this album a my own head because it is just there.
Okay,
Just
I have a better head rating this time. Okay,
Alright.
this album, it's like, you've been sitting down for a couple hours, and you finally get up, and you stand up, and like all of a sudden, like your head's all like dizzy and like, oh god, like
Oh.
god.
I heard if that happens to you, you might have cancer, Matty. I'd get
Oh,
that checked out.
Shit.
I was like, I thought, what? You're trying to give me a fucking cancer prognosis? What? You're 15. Shut up.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Now
That
I'm
wasn't
get-
necessary.
Yeah, I'm getting the feeling when you've been sitting down for a long time, then you get up and your head is all kind of like your balance is all kind of messed up because you've been sitting down for too long. It's like your head's all like, it's like blood rushes to your head.
You
pretty much.
you give this a light head review.
Yeah, like a light dizzy head.
I'll give
Okay.
this a
Is
sleepy
this
head.
what you wanted, Nick? Is that what you wanted, Nick? You wanted that head ring? You want a better one?
I might not kick you off the podcast now.
You're not the host of the podcast. Shut up. Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast.
We're gonna overthrow the
You
proletariat.
and me.
Doesn't
You
Ali,
and me.
did Ali do
Yeah.
his head?
Wait, oh, sorry,
We
Ali.
started a new podcast.
Sorry, Ali, you're so quiet. I'm sorry. You go.
So I'd give this a sleepyhead, as in like it's like really dreamy and it's nice and it's pleasant. It's kind of comfortable, but it's not like you're like whoa or anything. It doesn't really jolt you awake. It's just like pleasant and there. It's probably
It's like you're half asleep. Like you're to the point of a deep sleep.
but not like the it's like the nice kind though. It's not like the it's like the I'm liking this kind of thing.
Okay.
It's like being sleepy. Yeah.
All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast this week. Next week, we're going to be talking the new Joanna Newsom album, Divers. I will not be on the podcast because I will be away. Will, Josiah, AJ, who else is going to be on?
I might.
I mean, I don't know. Like people keep on saying like they're going to listen to the album, but not actually doing it.
I mean, I have a reason now not to listen to it because I'm going to be gone.
You have a reason not to listen to
No, I'm
one
gonna
of the best
listen. I'll
albums of
listen
the
to
year.
it, but I'll listen to it. But I don't have.
Hey, that's not currents.
I mean,
For-
again,
for
I listened
chance.
to a little bit and it was good, but it's you guys say it's really dense. It's I want to have some time to really dedicate myself to this album.
All right.
Okay,
Whatever.
but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast. And by the way, thank you for coming on, TJ.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I hope to be here again sometime.
Yeah, very
I
good first
appreciate
podcast. You're very good.
Thanks, man.
Better than
Appreciate
Matty.
Shut up, Nick. I swear to fucking God, you're pushing me, Nick. You're really pushing me. Okay.
Mods,
See ya.
mods.
The mods are asleep.
Oh, and
Sidebar.
Sidebar. What? Okay. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
Took our emojis.